Episode 246, Family Reunion. What are you doing? Marcus looked at Nathan angrily. How could his son talk to him like that? Don't be angry with him. We must let our son have his own opinions, Marian said as she tried to keep the peace between her husband and son. Nathan, you should be polite to your father. You mustn't speak to him like that in the future. Nathan sneered lightly. He didn't pay much attention to his mother's words. Nathan, what are you thinking? You don't seem that worried about Alex. Do you have a plan to deal with him? Marian was quite familiar with Nathan's character. Nathan glanced at Marcus and said, Mom, you're smart, unlike some people who are so narrow-minded. Nathan wasn't at all concerned when he saw that Marcus was glaring at him. He looked at Marian and asked, Mom, are Alex's parents back? Not yet, but I'm sure they'll both come to your grandfather's birthday party tomorrow night, Marian asked. Why do you want to know? You'll find out tomorrow. Something's going to happen at the party that will finally show my grandfather what Alex is really like, and that I should be his favorite grandson. Nathan imagined his cousin's embarrassment when he carried out his plan at the party. He felt very confident Alex wouldn't be a problem for much longer. Alex's parents informed him over the phone that they were on their way to the family estate, and that they expected to arrive an hour before the birthday party. They were very excited to see him. They'd heard a few days previously that Alex's restrictions had been lifted, and that they would finally be allowed to visit with him properly for the first time in 7 years. The family mansion was an ancient building constructed by the ancestors of the Ambrose family. It had more than 200 years of history. All the important family events were held there. At 7 o'clock that evening, Alex and Nellie stepped into the beautiful entranceway that led into the great hall where the birthday banquet was to be held. There were already several hundred people in the hall. Everyone who mattered to the Ambrose family was there. The majority of them were family members. The rest were outsiders like Ken Stokes, who held important positions within the family. They were all chatting and laughing together. The butler who was announcing guests as they arrived declared, Alex Ambrose has arrived. Alex was instantly surrounded by people asking him questions, including several of his aunts, uncles, and cousins. Alex, you're back, commented one of his uncles. I was worried you were dead, said a cousin. Alex, have the past 7 years been terrible for you? Asked an aunt. Nellie and the 4 girls of the Moon Society were pushed aside. Although the people surrounding Alex were relatives, he didn't feel particularly close to any of them. He knew that most of them really only cared about themselves and acted in their own best interests. However, he greeted them all politely. For 7 years, Alex had been so lonely and in need of the warmth of his family. But after only 20 minutes, he had said hello to everyone around him and returned to sit with Nellie. Then he heard someone saying loudly, Alex, I missed you so much. He looked up and saw a tall and handsome man heading toward him. It was his half-brother, Justin Ambrose. As soon as Justin reached him, he gave Alex a bear hug. He held him tightly and didn't seem to want to let him go. Careful, you'll break a rib, Alex said with a laugh. Justin whispered in Alex's ear. Alex, I know it was really hard for you to make the decision to give up looking for Debbie. I know that you're very bitter about it. After your 7 years of poverty training, I personally think that the family should have more respect for your choices. No matter what decision you make, you know that I'll always be on your side." Alex understood what Justin was trying to say, and he was very moved. He felt lucky to have such a loyal half-brother. Justin had heard about the restrictions on Alex being extended. He knew that if Alex had continued to pursue Debbie, it would have been very detrimental to his career and to his future within the Ambrose family. Justin slowly released Alex and looked him directly in the face. Alex saw that his eyes had welled up with tears. He patted Justin's shoulder and said, "How are you? You're crying. There's so many people here. You should be ashamed of yourself." Justin rubbed his eyes, gave Alex a playful shove, and said, "Who said I was crying? Don't spread rumors. I just had something in my eye." The 4 Moon Girls were moved by Justin's emotions and smiled. Then, Justin noticed the 4 beautiful girls, and his eyes widened with instant infatuation. He asked, "Is one of you my brother's girlfriend?" The 4 girls blushed. Celeste bowed her head and said, "We're just friends of Mr. Alex. Don't be silly." Alex shook his head and smiled. "Alex, there you are at last," a rickety old man said as he shuffled over to Alex, accompanied by Ken. The man looked to be in his late 70s, with a heavily wrinkled face, and was wearing a brown suit. Alex instantly recognized him as Mark Stevens, his family's butler. He said, "Mr. Stevens, please sit down and I'll get you a drink." He felt emotional when he saw Mark. He helped him to a chair and fetched him a cup of tea. He had not seen Mark for 7 years, and his old butler seemed to have aged excessively. Mark had always cared for Alex, and he felt heartbroken to see him so frail. Another announcement came from the door. "Gideon and Flora Ambrose are here." A gentle-looking middle-aged man in a suit walked in, accompanied by a beautiful woman of a similar age. They were Alex's parents. "Mom, Dad," Alex called out, and rushed over to them with tears in his eyes.